I support their goal of maybe they are behind
Which goal
Palestine.
do you support? Death to...
No, not that. You
Not
see,
to Israel,
actually,
America.
no, don't get me cancelled. But one thing, the beauty of the American government is that they usually have this saying that ammo is cheaper than life. Yeah. So they're never threatened by assets.
Yeah.
They'll use everything at their disposal. So to them, cost being expensive is not a thing to them. They left Apache helicopters and Black Hawks to the Taliban.
Yeah.
So they won't fear launching missiles to these other guys.
Yeah.
But the only thing that you see, by the way, have you ever asked yourself now, the Houthis, they've gone nuts. How will they be stopped?
Yeah, so welcome to the Uncut with X. Today I am with Bryson. And of course, if I'm with Bryson, we'll talk about geopolitics. So yeah, Bryson, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm quite great.
Yeah.
Even though I got some flu, you can.
Hey man, sorry.
Yeah, you can hear it from my voice, but all is well. Life is good.
Yeah,
we're pushing on.
Yeah, I'm also good. The year has been good for me, but of course it hasn't been good in terms of geopolitics.
Yeah, it has been interesting.
Yeah, you can say it has been interesting, and for some people it hasn't been good. So you're supposed to tell us about what is going on and how it started, because a lot of people, I'm sure, do not know that the Houthis and the Red Sea and everything that is going on. So yeah.
Oh, yeah, by the way, what's happening at the Red Sea? Should we call it that strait or that choke point? By the way, the Red Sea is a choke point or a passage or a passway for 30% of the global commercial ship or merchant ships that are passing there. Like the world
30%?
Yeah, 30% of the ships globally, they usually use the Red Sea. So it is a very crucial component in cargo transit along that area. And we see our boys over there, they've gone nuts. They want to take charge of the Red Sea, which is quite I don't know what you can say, but it's something interesting is happening at the Red Sea. Something interesting is happening in the Middle East, and we might, according to me, we might see an expansion in the larger war, in the war at large. So yeah, that's something that you might expect.
And so you're talking about something that's happening in the Red Sea. Of course, for those who do not know, so the Houthis, or in my take, the Houthi rebel of Yemen have taken over that place, and they are creating a lot of disorder. So the ships that are supposed to pass through the Red Sea are unable to do so. And as Bryson has said, it services 30% of the cargo transportation globally. And it's a key place because even while I was checking on which goods are mostly transported there, so it's mostly oil from the Middle East, which will affect Europe. Mostly Europe, since it's dependent. And the effects of that is they'll have to go around Africa.
They'll use Cape Town.
Yeah, they'll have to use the Cape Town route to be able to access Europe, which is expensive. Yeah, so also I wanted you to explain to us how it started, because a lot of people, me included, I remember you mentioning the Houthis to me on the last episode, and I had to go and check them because it was a foreign concept for me. So I want you to explain like who are the Houthis to the local Kenyan or the local individual watching.
To the world, it is only recently that Biden now pronounced them as a terrorist group. Actually, about 3 days ago, he pronounced them that they were not terrorists. He declared them when he ascended into power 2021. He declared them as not a terrorist group. And I've heard you say that they are rebels. To us, we know them as rebels, but to the people, they are a political movement. So they're people with political interest or ambitions, and we can associate them with the Taliban. Right now, we do not have a rebel called Taliban, but we have a government called
the Taliban. Yeah.
So the Houthi, I do not know much of their background information as I do maybe the Taliban, but what I know is it's a group. It was founded in 1994, and major people, the founder of it was the guy called Al-Houthi.
Al-Houthi,
yeah. For the tribes that are there, I think, I don't know, is it the Houthi tribe or something like that?
Yeah.
But their ambitions are, they have some political ambitions. And actually, their name is quite interesting. They're called Ansar Allah, something of that, Ansar Allah. Yeah, okay. Ansar Allah, which means supporters of God. And the slogan is death to America
and
death to Israel. Curse the Jews. And what again? Yeah, he has some curse the Jews or something of that.
Yeah.
So that's God is great. Actually, it's God is great. Death to America, death to Israel, curse the Jews. So that's the slogan. And from the slogan, we can see their ambitions and intentions. I personally do not support them, but they declared war on Israel.
Yeah,
and they have been targeting Israeli-linked or owned ships that are applying that route, the Red Sea.
Yeah,
they have had several ballistic missile or anti-ship missiles into ships traveling in that area.
Yeah,
and we've seen right now the US and some, I think, about 20 countries, they've come together to maybe counter. They're not calling it a counterattack, but a defensive mechanism or defensive implementation.
Yeah,
what they're trying to do. But whatever, I've never seen US coming with a good solution. Maybe the only time I saw them with some sort of good solution was maybe ending the World War II, but it wasn't a good solution after all. Bombing and a place, nuking. Was it a nuke or atomic bomb? And so when they come into the picture with the Houthi, it's going to be hell on earth.
Yeah, because people fear when the US get involved, because it usually does not end well.
Sure.
So I'm also supposed to mention also, because you mentioned the founder of it, and I remembered something. The founder of the Houthis, the
Al-Houthi.
Al-Houthi.
Yeah.
So he was a man who believed in leadership of the sheikhs. So before they had presidents, they used to have the old way of having the old way of leadership. So the sheikh used to be a leadership that was inherited to the child of the sheikh.
Okay.
And the leaders were usually termed as descendants of Muhammad.
Oh.
So he stood for that belief. And the reason, that's one of the reasons why he garnered a lot of people, because the people in that region are in line with that. And also the territory because they have already taken a huge part of Yemen. And the part they occupy is the part that majority of the people actually live. Because you usually find, in the case of Somalia, where for Somalia we can call them terrorists. So the part where there's that rebel militants, people don't like to stay in that area. So you'll find a lot of people concentrated in Somaliland rather than the other parts. Yeah. So for Yemen, it's quite the opposite, because people live amongst them. They want to stay there. They feel safe in the hands of that sort of leadership.
But in as much as they feel safe, those people, of course, have caused a human crisis, a civil crisis in Yemen. And I don't know, okay, maybe if those people are living there, but as of 2023 December, I saw the report by the UN whereby I think it was about 21.3 million or 23.1 million Yemenis are at danger of starvation. So that is like 2/3 or 1/3 of the Yemeni population. So these people, I don't know what the ambition is, but whatever they're doing, I support their goal of maybe they are behind
which goal
Palestine.
do you support? Death to
No, not that. You
Not
see,
to Israel,
actually, no, don't get me cancelled.
Okay.
What these people are after, you see that they've been attacking Israeli-linked ships, and it was like a method of telling Israelites or to tell Tel Aviv, let's come to the table, stop bombing Gaza. So what they wanted is that we are indiscriminately attacking Israeli-linked ships, so that these guys should stop attacking people at the Gaza Strait. But now we see that it has caused a much bigger problem than that, because right now they have also declared war on US-linked ships and British-linked ships. So no US-linked ship can go through that Red Sea. By the way, do you know that the US has begun the strikes on them?
Yeah, the US in partnership with the UK defense.
Actually, I've also mentioned that.
They both did the attacks.
They both did the attacks. But you see, the attacks, I don't know what's the intention of the attacks, because if maybe there's an attack, it's supposed to deter the enemy. But the Houthis, they're not being deterred. In fact, as of today, when was it? 17th? 17th, there was a latest attack on US-owned ship by the Houthis. And whatever the US is trying to do, maybe it could help in a way, because they are striking. What are they striking? They're striking missile silos. Missile silos in Yemen. So maybe that way it might work, but I really don't. I just lack words for those guys concerning those matters.
So a lot of the mainstream media is claiming that they are an Iran-backed militia, simply because the weapons that they use
are Iran,
and Iran has strongly said that they're not denied the association with it. And it's quite clear that they are actually being backed by Iran. So most of the people feel like their interests are more, Iran is mostly using it as a proxy to do its bidding.
Oh, but what's the business of Iran? Okay, because I know there must be relations with let's say, Russia. You find that Russia has attacked Ukraine with Iran-owned or North Korean-owned missiles. So does that mean that Russia is Korean-backed or Iran-backed?
Not really.
Not really. Okay, that what I see it is this: Iran has business relationship. Maybe it has some sort of relationships with this particular group, whereby the weapons which they are being used, they are Iran-owned. But that does not mean that you are given. Maybe they bought, because they could not get weapons from the US.
Let's use the case of Ukraine-Russia war. Do you think Ukraine is a proxy for US?
Actually, not for US, but for NATO.
But do you think they are a proxy?
Yeah, for NATO.
Who is funding them?
NATO.
So using that example, I might quickly draw a conclusion that
you see,
they are also backed by Iran, and the interest they're getting is not mostly them, but it's what Iran wants.
You see, if you say Ukraine is NATO backed, that means when we use that word backed, we mean maybe they are funded. Ukraine, they are funded. But we do not have evidence as of now that Houthi is funded.
Okay.
We do not have evidence that Houthi is funded. Maybe the weapons that they have, they are buying them. So that does not mean that they're backed by Iran. But I don't know. We usually label Iran as, I don't know if we've labeled it as a terrorist country, but we find they're claiming that the Houthi is backed by Iran. Hamas is backed by Iran, which Iran has denied. The Hezbollah in Lebanon is backed by Iran. So I don't know, the Al-Shabaab also backed by the Iranian government or what, but that's what the MSM wants us to feed on, and they'll give us what they want us to believe.
Just to try and feed us with that information. But for me, I strongly believe their interests are there, because how Houthi started was through their civil war, which happened in their country.
Okay.
And Saudi Arabia was, against it.
Yeah.
So there was a time Saudi Arabia was at war with the rebels,
The
Houthi rebels,
Yeah.
of which right now they have really separated themselves from what is going on. Because during the last time when they were in conflict, one of their oil refinery was hit
by the Houthis.
Yeah. So now they completely do not want to be associated with anything that's going on. So most of the people have left it for the Americans to do it, and the UK. Yeah.
Actually, the Houthis, they want Saudi. Right now, the only thing that's making the Houthis not to fight with the Saudis is the peace deal that they have. They have a temporary ceasefire.
Oh, they have a ceasefire.
Yeah, okay. Those people have been at war is it a decade-long war with the Saudis? But now they have a ceasefire. And they want the Saudis not to involve themselves in any way in this war. Because if they did, that's another oil refinery maybe being hit. And they want other European countries not to be involved. So it is like the only person who is at risk of being attacked, of his ships being attacked, is the Brits. So
why not the Americans?
The Americans also are at risk. I'm speaking about countries in Europe.
Oh, okay.
Countries in Europe. So those are the countries that maybe are at risk of being
attacked.
Being attacked.
And for the United States, of course, their risk is quite high because the Houthis had already done they had already attempted an attack, which was stopped by their ships. And of course, what you have talked about also, they had begun doing the attacks on the Houthis. So the Houthis returned fire,
retaliated,
and they're stopping the business that's going on in the Red Sea. So what implications do you think are there once they are unable to, solve that? Because solving that is quite expensive, as we know.
Yeah,
it's quite expensive. Because I was seeing the logistics of it. See, the Houthis are using drones.
You're using drones and ballistic
missiles. So the missiles that the United States are using to counterattack that, it's quite expensive. It's like stopping a Probox with a Lexus.
Yeah,
like the logistic version, the logistics involved in it, it's quite expensive. So what do you think? Do you think what do you think will happen?
One thing, the beauty of the American government is that they usually have this saying that ammo is cheaper than life. So they're never threatened by assets. They'll use everything at their disposal. So to them, cost being expensive is not a thing to them. They left Apache helicopters and Black Hawks to the Taliban. So they won't fear launching missiles to these other guys. But the only thing that you see, by the way, have you ever asked yourself, now the Houthis, they've gone nuts. How will they be stopped in that particular part?
Because, how do you think they will be stopped?
Their condition to be stopped is Israel to stop bombing Gaza. And since that condition is quite impossible, they usually have this saying that the only way to stop a war is to start a war. So and this is just like an initial step being launched. I know the US and those it's like the US is about to get into another war.
Because I heard the only way the US can pull off that war is if they withdraw their support for Ukraine and focus on this other one.
No, that's what's being said. But right now they're funding Israel. They're giving Israel.
They're also funding Israel.
They're funding Israel.
So there was some analysts saying that it will be super expensive for them to do all that. So the easiest way for them, do you know that they have ships close there?
So they'll have their naval bases.
They have their naval bases there. So they'll have to bring them over this other side for that war.
Which other side?
The Red Sea.
But they're there currently.
Not a lot of them are there. So for them to successfully win it,
the US has 11 aircraft carriers.
Okay.
And it's the country with the most number of aircraft carriers.
Okay.
So once they have one, it's like they have a full strike group over there.
Yeah.
It consists of it consists of the aircraft carrier, destroyers, frigates, and all those. It's like a strike group.
Yeah.
So when they say one, just know that's over 2,000 personnel are right there.
Yeah.
And 2,000 are more than enough to start a war.
Yeah.
And they're well equipped. So maybe they will how do you call? They will call in the other troops to come into that place. But them alone, I know they cannot manage. They need assistance of other countries, of which I saw this thing happening. I don't know if maybe it's something that is possible to happen.
Yeah.
But I saw them going into Yemen and bringing another war into the doorsteps of the Houthis. So making the Houthis concentrate on the war here, leaving alone the Red Sea.
Oh, so they're just trying to look for a more shortcut way of
even though
creating a war within themselves, then solving the other problem of the Red Sea.
Yeah, so actually we do not know how it will be done. Biden, I don't know if I've said this, but President Biden was asked by reporters a few hours ago whether it will stop the Yemenis from attacking ships. And he clearly said, no, it won't. But he said the US will continue its strikes in Yemen. Yeah. So I don't know what they will achieve by that, striking into Yemen as a retaliatory of Yemenis strike, or not Yemenis, but the Houthis striking into the Red Sea. And you know one thing, this whole thing, it has gained, the Houthis has gained more popularity.
Yeah, from this whole thing.
Yeah, from this whole thing. And I've seen this, I don't know if it's something maybe that can happen, but I've seen it's like governments will come to the Houthis to negotiate deals whereby they will allow their specific cargo ships to pass through that strait.
Yeah.
And in that way, you're giving these guys popularity and recognition because they want to control Yemen.
Yeah.
And you will be giving them recognition. And another thing, more recruits are joining into Houthis, because as of 2021, there were about 200,000 recruits, according to what people used to say.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, 200,000, that's a lot. That's a huge group.
Yeah.
Right now, I know and I believe, as the war is going on in Gaza, even some Palestinians might be willing to come and join the Houthis. Even other Yemenis might be willing to join the Houthis. So they're gaining more popularity.
But do you think they're doing that solely because Israel is attacking Gaza?
No. Actually, this is like a platform or a leeway for other strings that they have, or other businesses that they have. Attacking whatever they're doing, because there's a time that they were striking into Israel.
Yeah.
When they declared war on Israel, they began by striking them. Then they switched to the Red Sea. Yeah. But they have their own goals and their own ambitions that
they want also.
They want also, yeah.
Yeah, because before the Israel-Gaza issue that started October 7th last year, were they still actively doing, because I heard they were doing it, but not actively as now. They were still attacking few ships that were passing through that route.
Well, we call them like they were doing pirates activities.
Yeah, they were doing pirates activities, but now it's quite worse because
these are terrorists. They have now actually we can now call them terrorists.
Yeah,
because they're indiscriminately attacking all sorts of ships.
And it will damage the economy for Europe. So at some point, it's bound to happen, because if they continue that, the effect will start being felt in Europe, because once oil goes up, everything is affected. And what will happen is Europe will have to join forces with the United States to try and solve the issue.
Actually, that's what's going to happen, because when the moment they distract the global economy, we cannot stop. The whole world cannot stop because of you, man. Something must be done.
Yeah.
So eventually now another invasion will occur, and another maybe 20 years to just prove a point that Houthis will take over the government of Yemen. Because that's what they did with the Taliban.
Yeah.
Yeah, they went there for 20 years and it happened the way it happened.
Yeah, because now still Taliban is under control of Afghan.
Afghan is under control of Taliban.
Yeah, the other way around. And a lot of people died in the process, mostly for United States and the Brits.
The allies, yeah.
Yeah. And still nothing has been changed. So the cause they were going to solve is still there.
We currently don't know what they went to fight for.
Because nothing has changed.
Nothing has changed.
It's still the same way. So about Israel and Gaza, you were saying that South Africa has taken them to the ICJ.
Yes, the ICJ, the ICC. Okay.
So the ICJ and the ICC are different. So
they're different.
One
International
is Court of Justice, then the other Criminal Court.
Okay.
So this one prosecutes individual, this one is for states. The ICJ now.
Oh.
Yeah.
But both of them, okay, I understand.
More of the same, in the same place. They're both in Netherlands.
Yeah, they're both in
Amsterdam.
Netherlands.
Yeah, so you are telling us about that, okay?
Yeah, actually, by the way, South Africa has gone to court. Yeah, was it 30th December?
Yeah.
They filed, I don't know, is it the petition? They presented it before those judges, and many countries like Germany, they're against it, they're opposing it, they're defending Israel. And one puppet of the West, I don't know who was it that will say that thing, some sort of leader in Kenya that, okay, I don't want to be the voice of Kenya because many people have different opinion.
Yeah.
But the guy it was like, oh, this case is just like rubbish, whatever South Africa is trying to do.
Yeah.
And I came to understand why is it that South Africa is doing this. It's not that South Africa is an ally of maybe Iran or the Houthis or the Hamas, but what South Africa is for is human justice, because innocent people are being bombed.
Yeah.
Families are being destroyed, houses are being destroyed. Yeah. And this is what is the cry of many people, that you see more than 12,000 people have died. Yeah. Just because of you, just because of Hamas, or just because of you coming into war. Yeah. You're saying that you are going into war with Hamas, but in real sense, you see, the statistic that was done, the amount of bombs dropped in Hamas, in Palestine, is more than whatever was dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki.
So it's 3 times more. A lot.
It's quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing whatever the kind of damage that they've done over there, it's quite a lot.
And they're being accused for genocide. Do you agree that's genocide?
Yeah, that's genocide.
I think I totally agree it's genocide, simply because what the Genocide Convention talked about,
the Geneva,
the one in Geneva, about when you're trying to annihilate a specific group. And you see how Israel is doing it. They're going for hospitals where newborns are and expecting mothers are at. So this shows you how they are committed in trying to,
eliminate Palestinians.
Exactly, eliminate them from the planet. And you see how Israel is calling South Africa after that, petition that was pushed to the ICJ. They're calling them the devil's advocate. They're doing the devil's bidding. And clearly they're not. South Africa has been a country that has gone through
genocide and
itself, and they are trying to become the voice and try to defend a country or rather people that are neglected by almost everyone. The United Nations is not saying anything about that. No one is speaking, and they have decided to speak up. But my question is, do you think they will win the case in the ICJ? Do you think South Africa will win, and what will happen?
Whether they win or not, it's a matter upon the judges.
Yeah.
But whichever the case that they've presented over there, according to me, that's a valid case, and it's something that really needs serious attention.
Yeah.
Because if it's possible, of late I haven't heard. You see, since this war began, I've never heard about how many Israelis have been killed.
Yeah.
How many bombs have been dropped in Israel by the Hamas? I know of some missiles being shot, but they were shot down by the Arrow and the Iron Dome defense systems.
Yeah.
But now you see, is it whatever the can you just implement one measure that maybe will solve that particular problem? Maybe I don't say that Israel to be just the defensive side, but why are they persistently attacking?
Yeah.
Or there's no reason right now. We don't know the reason that they are attacking.
Yeah.
And the places whereby they are attacking, I really can't say that it's places hosted by maybe Hamas are located there, because there's no news that came that you killed 500 Hamas militants or whichever people. We'll always see about children. We'll always see about hospitals, schools, and all those things being destroyed.
Of course, some people are arguing, or rather Israel, because I saw what was it the Minister of Defense?
Yeah.
What he was saying is the Hamas is using people as human shield. Do you think that's a valid excuse for doing whatever they're doing?
Okay, not doing whatever they're doing. Using people as a human shield might be true.
Yeah.
Because in war, even anybody who goes into war, he'll always find himself using human shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's like a way of maybe, if I put this child here, this person won't
attack.
Yeah. So Hamas, that's true. Hamas is using people as human shield.
But also it does not justify whatever.
It does not justify now you destroying the human shield.
Why don't they want to send their troops to Gaza?
They have sent some. They did send some troops, whereby the outcome was terrible.
Most of their troops.
Actually, some troops have also been withdrawn. You see, there's a full battalion. I don't know the name. Just in the, how do you call this Israeli force? I've forgotten the name. They have bombed their bases in Pakistan. So no, in Iraq actually.
Yeah.
There's a whole battalion. There's this rule in when you're dealing with military that when a certain number of people have been killed in maybe a certain group, that group will be disbanded. It will no longer exist.
Okay.
So those people, they've been withdrawn. Their number, I think, many of them were killed.
Yeah.
And rumors have gone that this group has been disbanded because it hasn't been effective as it was thought. And it is a special group.
Yeah.
Special group meaning it's a special force. So whatever they went to do there, they did not achieve. Actually, what Israel is doing progressively is attacking using the missiles and all those things.
Because that's
rather,
much more
the
easier.
troops on the ground, they're not achieving a huge milestone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Back to the ICJ. So one interesting thing about the ICJ, do you know we have been taken there by Somalia?
Oh yeah, I understand about that particular area in the Indian Ocean.
Yeah. So we were taken there. Was it back in 2020?
The issue began around 2015. It began quite some time ago, and it was ruled against us.
Yeah, it was ruled against.
What happened?
That's my main point. It was ruled against us, and we still disobeyed it.
Yeah.
We have also seen when the Ukraine-Russia, the Ukraine-Russia thing started. Ukraine took Russia still to ICJ, and they were not allowed to. Russia wasn't allowed to invade it.
It was called a criminal whatever.
Exactly. They still went ahead and did it. So I'm trying to explain the concept of how the ICJ can simply rule something and countries can get away with it. I mean, we got away with it. We're still occupying that maritime space that Somalia claimed was theirs, and what the court says we should leave it to Somalia. We're still occupying it.
Actually, by the way, I'll now agree with the person who said taking Israel to ICC was like rubbish. That point wasn't in my head, by the way.
Because it's like rubbish, because just look at ICC.
There's nothing that will happen.
Even forget about ICJ. Look at ICC. ICC, it's majorly for African countries, for Arab countries. Most of the pro-West,
the US is not.
Most of the Western countries never, they're never taken there, and nothing is ever seriously done.
But Putin was.
They had.
Is being looked for. That there's this saying that if he goes outside Russia, he should be arrested. But who will do that?
But now the Western countries. I'm talking about the Western countries. Like even whatever happened in whatever happened was it Iraq or Iran during Obama's time? Like
Iraq,
a lot of
Iran was never attacked.
Yeah, Iraq. Iran was never attacked. Even what happened to that, if it was someone else, because that's more of equal to what Putin is
Actually,
doing.
it began during the time of Bush.
Yeah, but it's equal to what what Putin is doing, and people like Bush can't be taken there.
Yeah,
and they have done exactly the same thing that Putin is doing, of course under different circumstances, but almost similar to what Putin
in fact
is doing.
worse than what Putin is doing.
Worse than what he's doing. If he did anything close to what they're doing, they would simply try worse things.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so that has happened also. So I feel like the ICJ, in as much as South Africa has taken Israel there, it's more useless.
Actually, yeah, that's true. You can say, what are they achieving? By the way, what are they achieving? Okay, but actually, you can say it's the best way you have to help, because sometimes you cannot. South Africa won't take its troops there to fight.
Yeah.
Because that will be South Africa has its own problem.
So
you won't take your troops there. So what will you try to do? Maybe you will rally people to support you, to support Palestine, and make noises around the world. The same thing that was done during the South African genocide.
Yeah.
So, but taking it to court, it will help in one way or another, creating awareness or some sort of that.
Yeah, at least it might help in its own way, but it won't stop Israel from doing whatever it's doing, and it's quite sad. It's super quite sad. I think we have clocked past 30 minutes, so it has been an interesting one.
Yeah, that's interesting.